A to Z Sports Nashville. Good morning. Welcome into another interview edition of the morning show here. Got a guy that you guys are going to get very familiar with over the next few years. Got Jackson Slater, rookie offensive lineman out of Sac State. If you frequent the A to Z Sports Film Room channel, I actually had Jackson on before the draft, a little pre-draft interview. Jackson, first and foremost, man, thank you so much for joining the show, and congratulations again on achieving part of the NFL dream. Now I know you get to go out and kick some butt, but congratulations on getting drafted, man, this past April.
Yeah, thanks for having me. I'm really excited. Definitely very happy how it worked out. I think Nashville's a great spot to be. So, I'm excited for the future for sure.
Oh, no doubt, man. So I guess my first question is to start. I remember talking to you in that interview about, I know you had talked to a lot of different teams at that point, from the, obviously playing at the Senior Bowl, getting those opportunities, combine conversations, 30 visits. You had a chance to talk to a lot of different people. Let me ask you about, I guess, your conversations with the Tennessee Titans before the draft. Like, how much had you gotten to know them, and how happy were you to just obviously that to be the team that selected you ultimately?
Yeah, so I mean, everyone has a interesting draft story, I think. And yeah, I mean, definitely had a lot of conversations along the way. But Tennessee wasn't really, one of the ones that I guess stuck out to me. Like, they weren't like texting me, or my agents weren't saying, "Oh yeah, they like you a lot" or anything. So I did a interview or an informal interview with them at the combine with Coach Jones, and then who's one of the assistant offensive line coaches, and then did a Zoom call with him. Like, there's a lot of Zoom calls that go on, post combine and stuff. And that's it. So that's the only communication I had with them along the way. So kind of going into the draft, I wasn't, there are a few other teams that I'd talked to more, that my agents have heard from more, that kind of figured I would be leaning towards during the draft. But, obviously it's the NFL draft and nothing goes how you think it's going to go. So, you know, we're still around the fifth. And, I was very happy to be picked by the Titans. I think it's a great organization to be a part of. And, all the guys have been really cool. So, I'm really excited for the next few months in this season and the future. So
I know Nashville is a great place, obviously. Great nightlife. It's just a great environment, just in general. Two-part question. One, had you ever been to Nashville before this? And what were your initial kind of impressions of finally getting to go out there?
yeah, had never been there. Hadn't really been to the South in general
Okay.
beforehand. But I was like, sweet, Nashville's cool. Like, I'm a country music guy. Like, you know, couldn't have picked a better spot to be and play football at. So once I got there, pretty much aligned with how I thought it was. Country music themed very heavily, and very southern, a lot of barbecue out there, a lot of banana pudding, which is my new favorite dessert.
Love it.
So yeah, it's been awesome being out there, and OTAs were just a couple months, but even just those couple months were really fun. So
So I want to ask about the rest of the rookie class that you've gotten to know, obviously, throughout this process. And you went through rookie minicamp, and you've had some other voluntary opportunities to be around the team. Cam Ward obviously gets a lot of the conversation, but we actually had Femi Oladejo on the film room channel as well before the draft. I know Alec, a lot of great people, it seems, just kind of on paper. How have you been just kind of developing a relationship with that core that is, I mean, obviously it's going to be a big reason why hopefully the Tennessee Titans get back to where they had been previously as far as being a really good franchise.
yeah, everyone seems like pretty similar character wise. Like, it really just seems like, especially, the rookies, we spend, the most time together, I would say,
Mhm.
throughout OTAs. So getting to know those guys has been really cool. And like, everyone just seems kind of like a, lunch pail type of guy overall. Like, wants to get to work, get their job done, learn the offense, do their part. Like, that's definitely a big theme with the rookie class that I've been around. So it's been, and then off the field, everyone's super cool too. Like, been hanging with Gunnar Helm a lot, Xavier Restrepo, like, everyone, is super cool. And just getting to know them, pick each other's brains on what, our position does in the offense and stuff. has been really fun. And I think just my football knowledge in general has grown a lot, just, talking with other guys. And, we had a lot of film review stuff kind of post OTAs because the rookies stay around for like an extra week. So getting to do that with those guys and kind of talk ball and what our jobs are on different plays and stuff has been really fun. So it's a good group for sure.
So speaking of good group, I know the Tennessee Titans have invested a lot into the offensive line, obviously yourself, but also through free agency, Dan Moore Jr. acquisition. And I'm curious of just how you have been able to develop bonds with that group in general. I know offensive line is such a important position in terms of cohesiveness and playing together and developing a great bond and all those types of things. You have some good veterans in that room. I mentioned obviously Dan Moore Jr., JC Latham. You have Lloyd Cushenberry coming back from the injury. How has that room taken you kind of under their wing, and how have you been developing relationships in that offensive line group?
Yeah, it's been really awesome. I think honestly, one of the things I don't know, nervous, maybe anxious a little bit, after the draft is like, how is the room going to be? Are people going to help me along a little bit and, give me some tips on how I'm supposed to do stuff? And, that's exactly how it's been. It's been great. All the guys are super helpful. And I think, being a rookie, being a first year guy, I think it's huge on having a room like that where you can you almost throw a lot of the stuff from college out the window and you're learning a whole new technique and stance and all this stuff that's changed. And, having all those guys, especially a lot of guys with, have been in the league, 3, 4, 5 years in that room has been really awesome for me. Just having them, telling me, you're supposed to do it this way, or if I ask them a question on a play that, they help me out. So it's been really awesome being in that room so far.
Well, folks, we're going to talk about next goals for Jackson, both in the short term and long term, potentially for the Tennessee Titans. Before we do, though, on this great morning show that you guys frequent each and every morning, we have some great sponsors, and I want to let you know about those sponsors of A to Z Sports Nashville real quickly.
Just want to take a quick moment to thank you guys for liking the content, for the 5-star Google reviews. I know we're pre-recorded right now for a few days over the summer break, but we'll be back live sooner than you know. But got to give a shout out to all of our great sponsors. And we'll start, as always, with our friends at Wilson County Hyundai. Make them a part of your new car buying process. Go see them in Lebanon or online at wilsoncountyhyundai.com. The Bone and Joint Institute, boneandjointtn.org, the region's destination for comprehensive orthopedic and sports medicine care. Barton Drury Insurance Group, customized solutions for all of your insurance needs. That surety bond is right there with them. They're local and online at bartondrury.com. Lipscomb University and their sports analytics program, online grad program for you to turn that passion of sports into a career at Lipscomb University. And, of course, Holiday World and Splash and Safari. We have no more tickets to give away, but that doesn't stop you guys from having a great family experience just a couple hours north of Nashville at Holiday World and Splash and Safari at holidayworld.com. But thanks again for you guys supporting us, giving us a couple mornings off here in the middle of the summer. Hope everybody has a great holiday break, and we'll be back live. Appreciate it and enjoy the rest of the content today.
So, folks, we are joined again by Jackson Slater, rookie. I almost said freshman. You're not a freshman anymore. You are now a rookie offensive lineman for the Tennessee Titans. It's a changing world, man. Changing world. Jackson, I think a great thing that I wanted to ask you is I talked a little bit about your impressions of Nashville and Tennessee. I'm kind of circling back a little bit to, I guess, just right after the draft. But I don't think people ask enough about the family, man. Like, how excited was just the family in general, the support system you have? I know you talked about, you're out with your girlfriend right now, just kind of spending some time with her. What was that like, that moment, to be able to share that with them?
Yeah, it was really cool. It was kind of, I feel like everyone's draft story is like pretty similar in how, you don't go exactly where you want to go, maybe. I thought I was maybe, a 4th round guy potentially. And once we got out of the 4th, I was like, okay, like we'll see how the rest of the day goes, I guess. And, but all that stuff kind of goes out the window. Once you get that call and you have everyone there and everyone's really excited for you. So, it was really awesome having everyone there. And then, just along the way, everyone's been really excited for me and, this opportunity that I have and in the place I get to play. So, it's been really good so far.
Well, and I guess I want to ask about that opportunity a little bit because, as we kind of mentioned already, the offensive line group for Tennessee has improved drastically this offseason. I want to ask you just a little bit about your expectations going into your rookie year. Like, is there a thing that you would say would make it an overall success? Like, what are some of your goals in 2025 for the Tennessee Titans?
Yeah, I think for me, like even going into the draft, I was like, the biggest thing I want to do is, you know, be able to take coaching and apply it to my own game. So I think, honestly, my biggest goal is, taking what Coach Callahan wants me to do and being able to apply that, whether it's, in a team setting, in a walkthrough setting. I think just being able to be a guy that can be, reliable at different positions, and, a guy that understands what he's doing. So, you know, honestly, my goal is to just keep improving, keep, learning, the techniques and the playbook and, just being a guy that does stuff right. And I think, that's my main goal. And I feel like if I'm a guy that does that, then, only good stuff can come from it.
So I know when we talked before the draft, we talked a little bit about, you've been snapping a little bit, practicing a couple different spots. Is there any outlook that you think that you're going to play as far as, playing some center early on for Tennessee? Or are you strictly going to be sticking at guard? Like, what is the kind of the positional outlook for you?
Yeah, I mean, in OTAs was mainly kind of at guard. I think, for me, just outside looking in at center, I think you have to be pretty well versed in the playbook and the terminology. And
Sure.
I think, I still have a little bit to go as far as that goes. So, I think right now mainly staying at guard, but definitely keeping center in the back of my mind, knowing that like I do have to have that versatility. And, the more I learn the playbook, the more, I learn the scheme, I think the better I feel about center. So I think that's kind of where I'm at right now.
And so people know we are recording this before training camp officially kicks off. So would love to hear about your excitement for getting into that type of environment. And more specifically, we talked in our previous interview about, the opportunity you had to go down to Mobile, Alabama and see some of the best in the country. Well, on a day-to-day basis, very soon here, you're going to see one of the best in the entire National Football League in Jeff Simmons. So I just kind of want to hear about your excitement for that opportunity to compete on a day in and day perspective and just experience your first training camp.
Yeah, I think it's going to be really good for me. I think, there's going to be a lot of improvement that happens, over that time. I think just being able to put the pads on and go full speed. And I think that's the biggest difference from OTAs to training camp. As a rookie, I guess I don't really know anything, but I think being able to kind of let loose and, really work full speed, I think is going to be the biggest thing. So I think I'm excited to just be able to keep improving and keep, hopefully doing the right things. So
love it. Again, joined by Jackson Slater, rookie offensive lineman out of Sacramento State. Tennessee Titans fans, again, going to get to know this guy very well over the next couple of years. Jackson, appreciate you so much again, man. Congratulations on being drafted into the National Football League, and I know the best is yet to come, sir. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.